a doubt, this is one of the finest comedians working in the country today. It's a real treat to have him. Mr. John Bishop, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. Hello, good evening, how are you? Good. Don't worry, I've never heard of me either. Gotta be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, it's lovely to be here. For those who haven't yet worked out, I'm from Liverpool. Yeah. It just shows the BBC's commitment to ethnic diversity. They could have put me on anywhere, but they thought, no, let's throw him in Manchester and see what happens. And thanks for that, thanks for the applause, because we have this rivalry between us, and it's unnecessary. Let's be honest, it's unnecessary. Between Liverpool and Manchester, what is there? Warrington. And let's be honest, before the Swedes built a shop, we didn't even know it was there. And when the Swedes built the shop, they realised the problems they had. They thought, we're going to build a shop in Warrington. These people are half-breeds from Liverpool and Manchester. Let's make it easy. Let's show them which way to walk around the shop. If you ever go to IKEA and try to walk against the arrows, people scream at you. You can't just go to the marketplace. You've got to go through soft furnishing, even if you don't want anything in soft furnishing. That's why all over the country, people are walking home with 4-foot snakes that they didn't want to buy. And you just buy stuff, don't you? Like we bought a new fridge. And we had a fridge. There was nothing wrong with the fridge that we had. It just wasn't massive. So my wife wanted a new fridge. She wanted a new silver fridge that's the size of a bungalow. So she wanted a new fridge, and because I liked sex, I said yeah. And we got this fridge, and the best thing about this fridge, the big selling point about this fridge, is that you can get instant cold water direct from the fridge, which is, I've got to be honest, that hasn't half changed our lives. Because what we've decided to do is to put the fridge in the kitchen next to the sink. I'm probably saving myself a yard of walking every day. But what that meant is that we had the spare fridge. And there was a time when I was growing up that having a spare fridge was easy. What was that? Well, that was the joke, but obviously I didn't know I was in a double act. You know what you've just done then? When I walked out here, I had that same feeling that General Custer had. I looked around the room and thought, I'm from Liverpool, these are from Manchester, I'm outnumbered. But you've managed to put them all on my side. Thanks for that. Because you're not wrong, the garden's the best place. When I was growing up, that's where we put it. Let's be honest, we all would. If you had some spare white goods, they went in the garden. Just so you could show off to the neighbours. You could say, look, I've got a fridge I don't even use. Look at that. And we're doing that well, we've left the plug on it. That's how you used to show off, but you don't now. You can't do that now. It's not acceptable, and you know, kids don't play with fridges in the same way we used to play with fridges. You know, it's not acceptable. In fact, my kids wouldn't know what to do with the fridge in the garden. They wouldn't see it like the adventure that I saw it. You know, my kids, to be honest with you, are posh kids. My kids are posh, spoilt, middle class. My kids are the kids I used to throw stones at, to be honest. And there's some mornings where they're going to the posh schools with the posh satchels. I forget, I'm going, piss off. Sorry, son. You've dropped your lunchbox there, all your couscous has fell out. So there's no point, there's no joy in leaving it in the garden. So what we did, I thought I'll have to get rid of it. I don't know if anyone's tried to get rid of a fridge these days. It's a nightmare. But I don't know if you're aware of this fact, that if you're from Liverpool, by law, someone in your family has to have a van. It's true. You ask any Scouser you know, they know someone with a van. And so my brother already, he's got the family van. I phoned him up and said, I need the van. I've got to get rid of a fridge. So I took the fridge to the dump. Now, as I say, going to the dump used to be great. You could go to the dump and get rid of stuff. Now you go to the dump, you've got to pass an exam. I turned up at the dump, there's a fella there with a yellow vest and a clipboard who's done an MVQ in clipboard management. I turned up at the dump. He said, what have you got? I said, rubbish. And he said, well, what's in the back? I said, the fridge. He said, whoa, you can't bring that here. I said, why? He said, we've got an environmental policy now. You can't just bring a fridge here. I said, why not? He said, well, fridges have got fairons in. You can't just dump a fridge anymore. I said, well, what has to happen? He said, well, you'd have to phone us up. I said, and then what happens? He said, then we come and get it. I said, who do I ring? This is true, this. I said, who do I ring? And he gave me a number. I'm sat in the van, I got my phone out. I pressed the number. The phone in his hut rang. He went to the hut, he answered the phone, he said, hello? I said, I've got a fridge. He said, where are you? I said, I'm outside, dickhead. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been absolutely lovely. I've been John Bishop. Thank you, good night, and God bless.
Nailed it! Well done. Brilliant. John Bishop, ladies and gentlemen, come on! Fantastic! Superb! Brilliant! We love the Bish!